During 1971, I was in Dhaka. I actually lived in East Pakistan, and then when East Pakistan became Bangladesh in 1971, I was there for about 2.5 years. And after that, in 1974, or since 1974, I have been living in the United Kingdom. What happened in 1971, I was totally conscious of what was happening, and even the build-up, because it didn't happen just in 1 year. I remember very vividly how shocked we were because the election results the previous year, the national general election result, was so much in favor of the Bangladeshis. The party which won a landslide victory to rule the country was Awami League at that time. And obviously we were very hopeful that for the first time we will get political justice and Pakistan will be ruled by the majority party which has won. Very openly, justifiably and vividly, I remember how happy we all were. But unfortunately, what happened when the election results were completely dismissed by the military rulers at that time, immediately the resentment broke out, not only just at people's homes, but it spilled out onto the streets as well. People were protesting against it naturally and spontaneously. Nobody asked them to do it. Everybody. And at that time, I was a teacher at the in Girls College, degree college, and I remember how shocked we all were. We were having spontaneous meetings in houses, colleges, schools, university, everywhere. And the street people who were not really much involved in politics, even they started that this is unjust and unfair. So you see, that was the first thing. And the second thing was that in 1971, when it was a build-up towards genocide, because this protest, this campaign had to be quelled by the military junta at that time, and we knew that they were planning something big. And that was in public consciousness across East Pakistan, not just in Dhaka. On the night of 25th March, we couldn't go to bed at all because of the horrific noise that was coming out from rifles, from machine guns. It kept almost everybody, I'm sure, awake in Dhaka. And we were in Dhanmondi. I lived in Dhanmondi at that time, and Sheikh Mujib's house was not very far away, so I could hear, and everybody else in the family could hear what was going on. And we were completely sure that the army rulers, their soldiers, to destroy as many intellectual people and leaders as possible. And later on we found out, of course, on that night we couldn't, that Sheikh Mujib was taken away to Pakistan and he was in prison. And the people who died were many students, particularly from Jagannath Hall and other students' hall at the university. They were killed. And a lot of teachers, university lecturers, professors, they were taken out of their beds sometimes and were killed in front of their families as well. And I personally was shocked when later on I found out that a beloved teacher of ours, Ghiyasuddin Ahmed, who was a history teacher, and also G.C. Dev, who we used to call the Socrates of the East, because he was actually himself a great philosopher, but he was the head of philosophy department. And he was killed at that time as well. So many other people were killed later on as well, because intellectuals were killed systematically so that the country becomes devoid of all thinkers, creators, and people who could lead, who could give education to people. So the actual aim was to destroy us, not just politically, but socially, culturally, and also intellectually, so that there shouldn't be anybody who can think about the future in any way whatsoever. And the other thing is that when they started systematically doing this, there was a rumor as well later on that they wanted to change our identity. which was a horrific thing to think about if you think that how war is destructive, but to destroy some people's identity altogether by changing their ethnicity is a horrific plan. And this plan was thought up not just by the soldiers who tried to do that to the people of East Pakistan, but by the leaders who were thinkers, planners. So it was a very planned way of destroying East Pakistani's identity, hope, creative power, and also the engineers, doctors, and everybody who was a specialist of any sort was sought out and destroyed and killed in front of their families as well. So I think we can be called the witness or witnesses of genocide because we survived, and we can be called survivors of genocide. When in this country I found out about so many other genocides that took place, for example, Rwandan genocide, Bosnian genocide, I immediately relate to these people who suffered genocide because these Pakistanis at that time were the targets. And I remember one horrific statement given by the leader in Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who was actually in Dhaka only a couple of days ago. He left Dhaka and apparently immediately gave a press release saying that Pakistan is saved. So that means he thought that we will be completely destroyed and Pakistan will have no problem from these Pakistanis anymore. But he did not know that the resolve of these Pakistanis, what they are made of, is completely different from what he thought we were. And when I think of our children, our future generations now, I think what we learned from those days of 1971 war and pre-1971 war, when Bangladesh achieved Bengali as one of the national languages of Pakistan through protest, fights and sacrifice. Our children should know that we are of that kind of material and that kind of element we have in us and metal in us. And wherever we live, our story, our history should actually give us that strength that if we see any injustice in front of us, for us or for any other community, we have the courage to stand up against those kinds of things. And that is the lesson of history. And we will, as long as we will live, of course we will disseminate this information, the identity, heritage, equality, justice, all of these things which we experience through real, bold, courage, fight to achieve. And that can be achieved by others as well. So we are a very courageous lot of people in the world, and wherever we'll go, people should know about it and feel inspired by us. We have a lot of challenges in front of us in Bangladesh, like in any other country. And the challenges are economic, political, social. These three areas cover human life anywhere. So I can't see a country which I can pull out from my experience to give an example that this country is an example which has achieved all of this. So challenges will be there. I am happy only when I saw that economically Bangladesh made a lot of visible progress. It's hard work, it's not easy. But it also was possible because of stability. Because if every 5 minutes there is a military coup or the government falls, then people don't have that stability to invest and to economically progress. So that is important, that it has done that, it's doing it. But without proper democracy, people's hope cannot be fulfilled. So there is a lot of work to do in that area as well, so that everybody feels included, not excluded. That is a challenge for Bangladesh and other countries as well, which has been jeopardized because of the pandemic as well. These all should be tackled in a systematic way so that the whole world can benefit from development at all levels. But my hope is that because of our history, because of our courage to fight for the right rather than for the wrong, The spirit is there, and with that spirit, anything is possible. And I hope that we will be winning the challenges as well, fairly and squarely, and achievement will be completely within the reach of Bangladeshis anywhere and everywhere.